Wow. Thank you for tuning in. However you're listening, however you found me, whether it was TikTok, Instagram, word of mouth, a pigeon with a little message in its talon. I really hope he's part of the labor union. That's for sure. Or if you're my family and you have to watch this, thank you. There is none of this without you. That's why I dressed up. Listeners, I'm wearing a coat and tie because, well, this is a first date. You got to look sharp. That's what my mom always said. Rest her soul. Oh no, she's not dead. She's just fine. She's a Sacramento Kings fan, so I guess she's she's just dead inside. Yeah, but she's okay. Okay, good talk. On to the show. Behold, the first episode of Now here's a guy. Boy, that's going to get old quick. Welcome, everyone. Glad you're still with us and you didn't completely harm yourself after hearing Chris Collinsworth laugh at you. I'm Henry. It's me. I'm the host of Now Here's a Guy. You get one guess where my inspiration for that name came from. And yep, you got it. Yeah. I've been told on TikTok I can do a pretty commendable Chris Collinsworth impression. But also, now here's a guy. I'm right here. I'm a guy. I'm here now. So that kind of works out. But mainly, now here's a guy that really wanted to start a podcast. I mean, there's 1,000 of them out there. What makes this one so special? I bet you Patrick Mahomes makes an appearance. Jesus. Forewarning, I'm going to be doing those throughout. You know, they're going to hear that kind of sprinkled throughout the show. Not too much because I know everyone with ears. You know, I'm aware of you guys. I don't want to, put you through some trauma. You're going to hear some Tony Romo, a little bit of, I don't know, Jim. Let's see, little Mike Breen. Curry, way downtown. It's good. Or, the classic, bang! Christopher Walken. Oh, wait, hang on. This is a work in progress. But, ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters. Any real Australian. It doesn't matter the time of day. It's just, I don't know. It's just so easy at this point to get right into it. Just that vernacular down under is just, I don't know. It's like second nature at this point. Like I just love tipping into my southern side. Not like Southern America, right? The deep South. It's just like, the Queensland. I reckon you should try it yourself. It's so fun. Yeah. I'll be testing new material as far as impressions go. That's sort of what this is going to be about. But yeah, when can you expect to hear any of these wonderful impressions? Well, whenever there's a quiet, like a long, loud silence. I know it's just me talking to you, but if I need to like fill a void, you may hear one. You may hear one also when I prove a point. Like oh, Jim, I don't know. Here they come. If I'm concluding a thought, I don't know. They're going to come throughout. Okay. But bear with me, folks. This is the first class. This is syllabus week of Now Here's a Guy. And I'm going to stick to the script here because if I start doing impressions, we're just going to go off the rails. Okay, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Henry Marken. Age, I'm 24. Yeah. Height, I'm 6 feet. That's important. That's really important. You can never take that away from me. I am 6'0". I made it. All right, write that down. Make sure it's documented. Weight, 200 pounds. We're working on it. That's new. Yeah, it's not a fun 200 pounds. This isn't an NFL Combine 200. It's a strict diet of bacon and beer on the weekends. This 200 pounds is running a 5.2 40 time in Indianapolis at the Combine. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, but I live here in Los Angeles. I'll be here as long as they allow me, I swear to God. Diehard Bay Area sports fan. I don't know if you could, listener, try to envision in your minds just a mecca of all things Bay Area sports. That's what I have behind me. I got a bunch of hats. I got Jimmy G hoisted up here on the wall. Yes, he did shit down his leg multiple times throughout many games of massive significance, but he's still up here. Yes, he did be the source of a lot of my emotional distress And yes, watching Jimmy G as the quarterback of the 49ers, that did feel like a job. It was exhausting. It wasn't an escape. I mean, like, you think about it. Like, it was 2 hours of worry before the game. No matter who we played, it was 8 hours of work. 2 hours before the game. The games were always 4 hours. They weren't quick. They weren't flybys. There was no running the clock with McCaffrey back then. It was praying on 3rd and 8 that he wasn't going to throw it to the linebacker's belly. But, when you're that handsome and you have a jawline that could literally cut through serrated steel, all is forgiven. It's kind of like a hot girl at a nightclub. Like, she could have said the most diabolical, the most irredeemably brain dead comment in the Uber over there. But if you walk in with her, you're not waiting in line. Front row. Anyhow, I don't want to scare anybody away from the fact that I am a Bay Area sports guy. That's not what the show is about. This is decor, right? This is just for my space. We're not going to make this show just a soup kitchen of all things SF. No. That's not what this is. I don't have a Dodger hat up here, but I do have one in the bathroom, just in case I run out of toilet paper, so I still have something soft to wipe my ass. Oh, Jim, I don't know. You're going to need more than that hat on this one. Okay, moving on. So that's me. Listener or consumer, who are you? Well, you may have seen me from TikTok. I'm assuming that's where a lot of you are coming from. You're probably a fan of either Chris or Tony. I appreciate you for making the jump on here. You may have also found me throughout the airwaves known as Marken My Words. That was a podcast in my past life. You may notice the cover art looks very familiar to that of Marken My Words. And, well, the truth is, my artist didn't necessarily phone it in, but we'll just say he loved his work so much on the previous draft that he felt it needed not that many tweaks, and I agreed. So to anyone who's new, you're seeing a beautiful piece of work for the first time. And to the more familiar folks out there, you may recognize it, and that's okay. Okay? So, who are you? You are anyone from the casual to the serious sports fan. You may not even be a fan at all. You may just be, I don't know, passing by your television as your dad, your boyfriend, or your brother are pulling their hair out. And you may see, somebody dealing with great amounts of distress, and you think nothing of it. And that's totally fine. Whoever you are, I'm trying to make the show as applicable, as digestible as possible. This is a sports comedy podcast. This is not an educational show. We are not teachers here on this program. Myself, anybody I bring on, this is merely to entertain. This is edutainment. I do want to make something clear. There are great amounts of thought that go into these shows, and you may find out that I am sneaky intelligent every now and again. But we are comedians here. We are having fun at sports. So whoever you are, you may find yourself very familiar with any one of these criteria I have. Again, this is still syllabus week, folks, so bear with me. I'm just going through the script here. So pretend I'm your college professor. So who are you? You may have screamed at a player on your TV. If you've done that this show is for you. We've done that a couple of times. I breaking TVs is a little much. It's too on the nose. That's very much a Dallas Cowboys thing, and we don't associate with their kind here. But if the more violent is definitely not preferred. But if you've screamed at a TV before, this is probably you might find a lot of familiar. I don't know, buttons to associate with on the show. There's a lot of emotion can come into this show for sure. Parlaying off of that, do sports have an overwhelmingly large control of your emotions / state of being? Like, for example, are you a Chicago Bears fan, and do you find yourself relatively depressed from the months of, say, September to January, but a little bit of happiness towards the end of August? If so, this may be a great podcast for you. This could be like therapy. We're here to laugh because sports are hilarious, okay? And your team sucks. So let's have a laugh, okay? Cool. Have you ever blamed the refs? If so, this could be for you. And again, that's not just the game. I'm talking about a specific play where you've also thought both Las Vegas and the refs are coming after you. No one else but you. If you've ever felt that way, that Las Vegas and the officiating crew of said game is personally targeting you and your shitty $10 bet, this is the perfect podcast for you, because I feel that way most every day. It's always me. It is. They're the stripes. They have it out for me 100%. Have you ever reprimanded someone for missing a free throw? Remember, a lot of these players you're yelling at are particularly young, as they may still be in college. The answer is yes. This is the perfect podcast for you. We love screaming at people for missing a free throw. It's a free throw. Even though there's a hot chance that any single one of us could never make the exact same shot in their situation, let alone make an open free throw at the local YMCA at 6 o'clock on a Sunday, just as you're trying to sweat. We can't make those either, but we should be able to make one in a packed house, Saturday night hoops in Durham, Duke, North Carolina. We should make that free throw. Game on the line, right? The answer is no. But if you think yes, this show is definitely for you. Because we often feel that way here on Now Here's a Guy. Oh, Jim, I don't know. Thank you for that beautiful analysis there, Tony. Have you ever verbally destroyed a kicker for missing a kick? Oh, this one's important because I was a kicker in high school. Yes, I have. And it doesn't matter what kind of kick. If you miss a PAT 20-yarder, 30-yarder, 40-yarder, 50-yarder, you should make them. That's how I feel. I'm not pushing an agenda, by the way. That's just you walk out there, make the goddamn kick. And if you don't, well, you're eligible to be ripped apart in this television show. Well, multimedia show. Listening, YouTube, whatever. Oh, this is a good one. Have you ever felt like you could have made that play? Like, picture just any old play in an NBA game where the average height is, say, anywhere between 6'7" to 7 feet tall in the play. These guys were the best athletes their high school has ever seen, their town has ever produced, and likely some of the best members of society, genetically speaking, will ever see. But you felt like you could have made that play. They missed a layup. You can make a layup in your rec league. You must be able to play in the NBA. If you think, yes, they should have made that play, or you could have made that play, this is the perfect podcast for you. We often don't take prisoners on this show. It's a sports comedy show. So if you fuck up, you are eligible. Okay? Let's see here. Yes. Do you watch games usually while betting/drinking or both? We do gamble on this podcast. We are not drinking tonight because we're recording on this beautiful Tuesday night in Venice. However, we are drinking water. Just want to show everyone that I'm hydrated. The pee is white. No, that's semen. We do gamble on this podcast. We are sponsored by our great friends at SHARPZ. It's an awesome sports betting social network. What's in it for you on that app? Okay, I'll tell you what. Picture like a Discord or any sort of network where you can engage and follow each other using their bets. You can track people with their bets. And there's no more of this talk like you go to the bar and it's like, oh my God, I hit this crazy 6-leg parlay. No. You see exactly what people are doing and you see right through the bullshit. It's an awesome app. You can tail people. You can fade people if people are cold. Like me, who couldn't hit water if he was thrown out of a boat. You should probably look at my picks and do the exact opposite. I'm putting a link in the caption in the bio. You could see all of my bets and literally run away. You can't run away any faster. That's what's in it for you, is seeing what I'm doing and do the opposite. I'm so cold right now. But our friends at SHARPZ, they're harder than ever, and it's an awesome platform. Highly recommend you guys sign up. It's an awesome opportunity to make some small cash. Sports betting's fun. We do gamble a little bit on the show, but we're not sharps. And the company's called SHARPZ, but we're not like professional bettors here. But I may give you some funny insight. Okay, so that's who you are. If any of those things that I just mentioned resonate with you, you would love this show. You would also love this show if you're just a casual fan, or if you're looking for a light laugh. That's cool too. 2 episodes a week guaranteed. Swear to God. And speaking of God, we're not going to dive into religion, politics, any of the nonsensical stuff that you would otherwise see on Twitter or your news. This is strictly sports comedy. No agendas whatsoever. I may push a few sports agendas your way, but nothing. I won't give you anything that will literally make you walk differently on the sidewalk. How about that? It's just you could turn your brain off and just listen to me. How about that? So 2 shows a week. Probably going to record every Sunday night and every Tuesday night, something like that. Maybe one in the middle of the week, depending on the situations in sports. We would call those the occasional necessary third episode. If I do 3, it's because there's something specific I want to talk about. And last but not least, folks, this is a sports comedy show, not an educational show. So please don't take this too seriously. It's sports. Sometimes it can be really, really powerful, and it can be a vehicle for change or uniting a community and one of the strongest forces known to man. And then sometimes sports can be just fucking hilarious. And that's why I created this show. Well, looks like we're right on schedule here because Russell Wilson getting released from the Denver Broncos is probably one of the funniest things I've seen this year. I mean, wow. Broncos country, the ride is over. Sometimes there are moments in sports that need to be remembered, not for their success and for their greatness, but for their stupidity. We're going to do a lot of that on this show. Holy shit. Let's do a little history lesson here. So, 2 years ago, the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks engaged in a blockbuster trade for the ages for Russell Wilson. Again, probably a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's got a Super Bowl ring. In and out of his prime, we weren't sure. Denver mortgaged the farm. They gave up 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, backup quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and $165 million in guaranteed earnings. So for the casual fan, the unfamiliar, we'll say that. For the unfamiliar, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, that's the whole draft. Like, there are guys in Indianapolis right now training for their life to get drafted. And the best of the best prospects, some of the finest specimen the human sperm has ever created, they'll get selected in the first round. These are guys that their abs are so strong, they're inventing a new element. These are guys that run quicker than most wireless carriers can even travel, right? Some of these guys are faster than, say, T-Mobile. Russell Wilson costed 2 of these guys and then 2 more. Think about it. So 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, another player, and a player who made a pretty significant amount of plays already. $165 million. Denver gave that up. And Seattle gave up Jesus Christ. I mean, Russell Wilson. Well, it certainly feels that way. My God. The first season of the new era Broncos with Russ and no one else was pure diarrhea. It was awful. It was one of the worst seasons in NFL history. A lot of analysts have come out and said that coaching job was shit and the season was awful, but it was laughable. And what makes it even funnier is all the press before the season. Broncos country, let's ride, was this phrase that everyone in Denver now hears in their nightmares. And it was supposed to be like this rallying cry, this war call, this teamwork firing up moment. Oh, God, it was just everything. No matter what nomenclature I can use for it, no matter what I say, it doesn't make it any less cringy, especially now. It was awful then, but it aged horrendously. It aged like milk under the sun. My God. But here's what makes the situation even funnier. So they have an awful season. They already gave up everything for Russell Wilson. But even after the disaster, the Broncos said, you know what? Here are the keys. Russell Wilson signed a 5-year, $242 million contract extension after that season. So they witnessed pure shit and said, how about half a decade more for $250 million? Broncos country said, let's ride this one out. Jesus fuck. Well, now he's cut. Or I should say, he's been informed he will be released, which is like a 30-day, 40-day period where they let you know you're going to get fired in corporate terms. And the Broncos lose $85 million in dead cap space for the next 2 years, which means it's not like, oh, we don't have to pay him anymore. No. You're still paying him. He's just not going to play for you. So you're paying a guy to do nothing. Russell Wilson cost Denver more than Dune Part 2, and he's not even fucking playing. He's not even fucking playing. Broncos country, let's commit homicide to an entire franchise. That's what happened. That's what Russell Wilson did. Crazy. Fucking crazy. Speaking of crazy, there's an unfortunate and uncanny similarity between the faces of Brock Purdy, my quarterback, and Lee Harvey Oswald. Yes, the man who assassinated President John F. Kennedy. Yeah. That's literally a tough look. People are saying that Brock Purdy and Lee Harvey Oswald look alike. Of course, Lee Harvey Oswald was shot dead a long time ago, but the renderings on the internet and Brock Purdy, they look alike. It's too bad because I want to say no, God, I can't see. I see it. It's clear as day. I'm not saying no. Do not run away and say there's any nothing. I'm just saying it's too bad. The internet, however, had some fun with this one. One viral pinned tweet in particular said, Brock Purdy and Lee Harvey Oswald, just a couple of guys who couldn't have possibly done it alone. Wow. Well, that's obviously not true. Brock Purdy did not get it done. There you have it. I mean, here's a guy who thought he could beat Patrick Mahomes, who's probably the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. Thank you, Chris. Perfect timing as always. Anyway, moving on. NBA. One of the top stories in the NBA right now is the fact that college basketball is happening, and you're probably not watching the NBA. That is correct. And March Madness will definitely consume a lot of my thought for the next couple of weeks. I will be joining my dad in Las Vegas for the annual degenerate trip to Sin City. But there's a story in particular in the NBA right now that I think needs some attention. And it's not something you'd see on First Take. It's definitely not a take Stephen A. Smith would take because this is very particular to one player and to me as well. So Damian Lillard has made it public that he feels very lonely playing for the Milwaukee Bucks, living pretty much alone in Milwaukee in the Midwest. He basically said that he has a pretty lonely life. He had, of course, made the offseason move from the Portland Trailblazers to the Milwaukee Bucks. And he says his life's pretty boring and he's pretty lonely. He was a family guy and now he just does nothing. He pretty much, all he does is basketball and the occasional video to feel something. Wow. People are kind of cooking him on the internet. They're saying, well, it's really hard to feel sorry for you when you're making so much money. You have a supermax. Oh, you're so lonely. Try being poor. Like, all right, shut up. I don't really buy into that because there's only so much money can do, especially when you're on an NBA schedule where it's just like eat, sleep, wake up, train, basketball, watch tape, go back to bed. There's only so much you can't just buy a tiger. What are you going to do? Just chain him up all day while you're at the gym? Oh, hey, Rick, you want a piece of steak? Well, I'm going to Toronto for the weekend to play the Raptors. Don't kill the housemaid. Like, there's only so much money can do. But I will say this. No matter who you are, no matter how much money you have, at the end of the day, you're still living in fucking Wisconsin. It's pretty mid, the state. I can relate to Damian Lillard. Mm-hmm. I can. As a Midwest survivor, me. That's right. I know exactly what Damian Lillard's going through. Mm-hmm. See, Dame and I were both from California, and we took our talents east to the Midwest. God, what a crazy place the Midwest is. I could do a whole show on Midwest isms. I have so many questions. I've gotten so few answers, even in my 4 years in the Midwest. I went to Indiana for school, for undergrad. I was a Hoosier. I'm still going through the pain of being an Indiana Hoosier fan every single day. We suck at just about everything, and our hopes get raised only to be crushed. So the seasonal depression was every season. So do the math. It's just depression. But the Midwest is really boring. Like the summers in Chicago are great, but that's all anyone in the entire Midwest talks about. They talk about one season in a different city in a completely different state. 4 months of the year, one city has a great summer. That's like people will just bring it up in Iowa in February. Oh, gee, I can't feel my feet. And Nana died from frostbite, but at least the summers in Chicago are kick ass. What the fuck? Seriously, I could do a whole show on Midwest isms. I mean, just a fruit basket of foreign concepts that I will never understand completely. For example, haircuts for guys in the Midwest, there are only two. There are two haircuts. Fade, or you have curly hair and a fade. That's it. That's all anyone gets as a dude in the Midwest. And every single girl, I swear to God, sees that guy and goes, oh my God, let's have sex right now. And then the guy goes, well, we're 17. That's crazy. And the girl goes, you're right. Let's get married on the football field at the big game. And he goes, yes. Seriously. You go away for a weekend in the winter in the Midwest, you have to leave your faucet on. There has to be water dripping. Otherwise, the pipes explode. It sure sounds like a pipe bomb. No, it's just because the winters are so fucking harsh. Oh, now here's a guy that's happy as a clam that he's out here in beautiful Southern California. I sure am. Jesus Christ, I sure am. Ugh. I don't blame Dame whatsoever. In fact, if he's lonely right now, I feel really sorry for him because I know exactly what he went through. See, when I was lonely, I was in a fraternity house in Indiana, and I could go drink or smoke or go make fun of a pledge or make a pledge do something really dumb. Dame can't do that as an NBA player. Dame has to maintain a perfect physical palate at all times. So his mental health is probably suffering. In fact, he's probably just sitting at home watching tape in beautiful. Let's check the temperature. Let's see what we got in Milwaukee. Yeah, just as I suspect. 29 degrees. Wow. Have a good week. That's fun. By the way, you're not skiing in Wisconsin. You're just existing in the cold. There is no, oh, can't wait to go to the mountains this weekend. No, you're just doing your life in the cold. Like you got to go to the grocery store. Then you got to walk the dog. Ugh. So yeah, he feels lonely. I feel your pain, and do not give that man shit. In fact, the Midwest itself, east to the I took my talents east to the Midwest. You have to go east to the Midwest. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. The whole thing's out of whack. I feel stupid just thinking about it. Oh, speaking of stupid, let's talk about one stupid NBA team. I'm not one to make predictions at all. That's not what this is. You could turn on First Take for that. And by the way, watch them change their predictions each week based on who's playing. It doesn't make a difference to them. I like to stick to a few calls I'll make at the beginning of the year and really hold firm to those. That's what I do. The because that I feel like the backbone of this show is sneaky intelligence. It's comedy and sneaky intelligence. Let me talk to you about a team that's not sneaky intelligent. That's unbearably stupid. It's the Dallas Mavericks. Okay? No matter what happens in the NBA playoffs, the play-in, or whatever you're doing, go ahead and pencil Dallas out. In fact, you know what? Do yourself a favor and win yourself some coin every now and again. If you see Dallas plays any team, go ahead and take the over. Defense? Yeah, never heard of her. Forget about it. Stupid, stupid team. Dallas is the culmination of a dyad of stupidity. Dyad means two. There are two guys that lead that team. You got a crybaby and a Kyrie Irving. One of them, by the way, believes the earth is flat. That's right. It's 2024, and one of them believes the earth is a fucking flat plane. And then he goes and plays basketball for a living. Like, there's only so many smart, intelligent plays that man can think of on a basketball court. Sure, a finger roll can do you a solid amount of good in basketball. But at the end of the day, you kind of need to know a few things, right? It helps to be just decently intelligent in basketball. It really does. So that's Kyrie. The other guy is a crybaby, and that's Luka. My God, he's so fun to watch, but the dude doesn't ever stop complaining. It's atrocious. I mean, good Lord, his skin is paper thin. In fact, it's the polar opposite of Nikola Jokic. And one would think you got this whole European basketball influence where supposedly the games go ridiculously hard over there. It looks like something in the gulag in Call of Duty. You got people with flamethrowers in the stands, and supposedly these players play in Europe and they come to the NBA and they're like, this is soft. I know much harder terrain in Europe, right? But that's not the case with Luka. The guy hears slander in Section 300, and he just goes right to the ref and points and has security escort them out. It's crazy. He will have you removed from the game if you hurt his feelings. Like, you're out of there. What is this, a fucking schoolyard? Good Lord. I love Jokic, by the way. So Jokic is from Serbia. Luka is from Slovenia. And Jokic, for the longest time, has been super unbothered by, NBA environments. He's the first to tell you, like, brother, this doesn't bother me. I am from Serbia. I don't care about this. I care about horses. I don't care. It's always the only thing he does care about. He doesn't even care about the season. He doesn't care about winning an NBA Finals. He could win 7 for all he cares. He wouldn't care. He cares about his horses in Serbia. I think that's also part of it. Him just not caring. It's the funniest thing. He's probably going to be in the GOAT conversation pretty soon. The guy doesn't give a shit about basketball. And Luka's the opposite. He'll never win a title on this team, probably ever at all. He'll be a Carmelo Anthony that cries. Just do yourself a favor. I'm sick of watching Dallas. I'm sick of thinking that this will be the game that they win. I've lost so much money on these idiots. Just take the over and don't bet on them. Like, don't bet on them to win. Just take the over. When playoff time comes near, fade them. They're gone. First round exit. Bye-bye. See you later, Dallas. Go cry in the offseason. God, always pisses me off. Speaking of pissing, I was pissing my pants laughing a couple weeks ago at the MLB's Revelation. Their fabulous wardrobe edition is stunning this year. This was an amazing story, and it didn't need to be this serious, but it really was. It was remarkable. The baseball pants. I'm sure you've heard that they're see-through. The jerseys. That story is old and tired. The fact that the jerseys are shit. There was a conspiracy, not conspiracy, there was a theory that the pants may be see-through based on a couple pictures. And then it was confirmed after some really good pictures where testicles were showing and guys were having more sack revealed in a beanbag chair. And some photos, we saw the whole 50 states, shaft and everything. It was an awesome day for some groups of people. I say some because if you really like seeing guys in baseball pants and their genitals showing, it was a good day for you. Media picture day was great. It was like, it was insane. Like, oh, Jim, I don't know if we could take families to the ballpark anymore. Tony Romo was probably really concerned. I was pretty back and forth about the baseball pants, by the way. Like when they first came out, I was like, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. Like, no way. And then pretty soon after, I was like, wait, no, this is amazing. This is the best thing that's ever happened to baseball. You know how many situations they're going to have this year? You know how many non-baseball related news headlines are going to be simply because of something regarding the pants? This is about to be the biggest year in baseball history. And I can't decide if the game makers are geniuses or idiots because of this. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say this is their plan all along. But I don't think they're that smart. I think this is what you call in golf a great miss. I got a freaking photo on my wall of some of the baseball wardrobe malfunctions, and it's not coming down. I'm really excited about this year. I can't wait for someone's rally thong or someone's third leg just to be totally visible on national television. That's going to be insane. That's going to be insane. I'm stoked about that. Okay, that's kind of all I got, folks. This is what the show will feel like. If any of that appealed to you, if you got the rush of watching me entertain you, if the impressions hit, if you felt the energy from the Foo Fighters, that wasn't very good. That wasn't. You know what? We're gonna work on walking, but that's still pretty good. If any of that resonated with you, it's gonna be more of that going forward. I'm sorry that the syllabus took so goddamn long. I wanted to introduce myself thoroughly, but you know, there's no better way to do it. That's why they do it every year in college. And college is great. But I always want to leave you guys with some funny thoughts on the way out. And so right now I'm really obsessed with some really funny names in sports. Again, sports are hilarious. That's what this show is. And there's a guy that plays for the Providence basketball team, Providence, Rhode Island, college basketball. There is a gentleman named, and I quote, Always Right. First name Always, Always. Last name Right, Wright. Foursome Left. This has got to be his biggest rival. They probably have Battle of the Ages. Always Right. That, I don't know if the parent is a dick or a genius. There got to have been a couple of years when life was pretty hard for Always Right. God forbid he goes left. And, I got to turn left. I got to go right. Always Right. I love that. Another good name I saw, remember this one, folks. I'm not making this up. Coach, he's a coach. This is Coach Dick Bender, an assistant on the Clemson basketball team. And they're a good team, by the way. So you will see them in March Madness. Dick Bender, assuming, Richard is his real name, but he obviously has a sense of humor because he didn't go by Richard or Rich or Richie. Right to Dick. Saw an opportunity, he took it. And I applaud him for it. I mean, he's an old guy. So this is years of figuring that out on his own. I mean, the ball is on Dick Bender, assuming they pretty malleable themselves. God, we need more of that. I'll push this agenda. We need more people that are willing to break down the barriers like Dick Bender and Always Right. Names can be funny. Being named Dick Bender, that guy, that gets you in the door for a lot of things you wouldn't have any business at. Some doors you probably don't want to open, but most of the doors are opening for you. Yeah. Dick Bender. consider me a Clemson basketball fan. God, I hope they win a couple games just so we can. There's no way the television broadcasters would do this, but just a little bit of attention towards the staff. Obviously, they're going to talk about the head coach through the players. Let's just mention Dick Bender on national TV for just 1 second. Maybe let's. You know, it'd be great. Clemson's head coach gets ejected. Dick Bender, first guy on the staff to replace head coach for the game. That'd be insane. Dick Bender calls the game perfectly. He just charges through, penetrates the defense, just draws up the perfect plan for battle, and shuts the enemy down with a spraying defense. The boys were just raining threes. It was dripping. Dick Bender. I'm done. I'm done with the dick jokes. Okay. We will have more guests in the future. We'll have more episodes going forward. Thank you for suffering through syllabus week of now here's a guy. Class is dismissed. Oh shit, forgot to mention. Like and subscribe. Click the button wherever you see fit. Follow me on the socials. I'm HS Marken most places. And you could also listen to this on podcasts. Felt like I should include that. Oh, you're still here. I mean, here's it. Shut up.